A reading from the book of Genesis. God put Abraham to the test. He called to him, "Abraham." "Here I am," he replied. Then God said, "Take your son, Isaac, your only one, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah. There you shall offer him up as a holocaust on a height that I will point out to you." When they came to the place of which God had told him, Abraham built an altar there and arranged the wood on it. Then he reached out and took the knife to slaughter his son. But the Lord's messenger called to him from heaven, "Abraham, Abraham." "Here I am," he answered. "Do not lay your hand on the boy," said the messenger. "Do not do the least thing to him. I know now how devoted you are to God, since you did not withhold from me your own beloved son." As Abraham looked about, he spied a ram caught by its horns in the thicket. So he went and took the ram and offered it up as a holocaust in place of his son. Again the Lord's messenger called to Abraham from heaven and said, "I swear myself," he declares the Lord, "that because you acted as you did, in not withholding from me your beloved son, I will bless you abundantly and make your descendants as countless as the stars of the sky and the sands of the seashore. Your descendants shall take possession of the gates of their enemies, and in your descendants all the nations of the earth shall find blessing. All this because you obeyed my command." The word of the Lord.
Son of your handmaid. presence of all his people, in the courts of the house of the Lord, in your midst, O Jerusalem. I will walk before the Lord in the land of the living.
A reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Romans. Brothers and sisters, if God is for us, who can be against us? He who did not spare his own son, but handed him over for all of us, how will he not also give us everything else along with him? Who will bring a charge against God's chosen ones? It is God who acquits us. Who will condemn? Christ Jesus it is who died, or rather was raised, who also is at the right hand of God, who indeed intercedes for us. The word of the Lord.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Jesus took Peter, James, and John and led them up a high mountain apart by themselves. And he was transfigured before them, and his clothes became dazzling white, such as no fuller on earth could bleach them. Then Elijah appeared to them along with Moses, and they were conversing with Jesus. Then Peter said to Jesus in reply, "Rabbi, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." He hardly knew what to say. They were so terrified. Then a cloud came, casting a shadow over them. From the cloud came a voice, "This is my beloved Son. Listen to him." Suddenly, looking around, they no longer saw anyone but Jesus alone with them. As they were coming down from the mountain, he charged them not to relate what they had seen to anyone, except when the Son of Man had risen from the dead. So they kept the matter to themselves, questioning what rising from the dead meant. The Gospel of the Lord. What does rising from the dead mean? Well, that's not what I actually would like to share with you, but I'd like to share with you a recent experience with a couple who invited me to their 50th wedding anniversary or golden wedding anniversary. I always find it an honor and a great privilege to witness couple renewing their vows after 50 years. And more so, to be with them and their family, celebrating this Jubilee, Golden Jubilee. After the celebration of the Mass, we went to a beautiful banquet to celebrate this 50th wedding anniversary. And in the middle of the meal, the banquet, there were several friends who stood up and shared their greetings. They greeted the jubilarians, those who were celebrating their 50th anniversary, and they were mentioning several things about the relationship of these two wonderful people, surrounded with their 6 children, and I do not know how many grandchildren, so many. But I was struck with one of the guests whom I learned later on that this particular guest, was actually one of their sponsors when they were married. So this man was with them all throughout their journey as husband and wife. And this man said, "Now I realize you are right." And he was referring to the groom. "You were right, that all these years that you were raising your family, what you were doing is not really a stations of the cross, but truly the cross is light to carry, because that cross is actually your love for your family." And he made some details about these things, and he mentioned how this couple made a lot of sacrifices for their 6 children, raising them up, bringing them to school, and allowing them to really have a good education. The 6 children all graduated from college and had a master's degree. And so now that they are very successful in life, this friend of theirs realized that all their sacrifices did not go in vain or in waste. Those sacrifices, those crosses, that in the eyes of the world, why would you sacrifice like this? Enjoy your life. Let them get some work and pay for their tuition themselves. Why would you work hard for your kids? Let your kids work and pay for their tuition. And the couple said, "No. It's our responsibility as parents to give them education. After that, we will see our glorious days." And true enough, when they were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary, everything was prepared, and some part of it were actually surprise from their kids. And that celebration was truly their glorious day. My dear brothers and sisters, the journey of Jesus is also, in the eyes of so many, were actually Calvary, just stations of the cross, pains and suffering. But for Jesus, it's not. The cross, which during those times is a symbol of defeat, of weakness, of punishment, of death. For Jesus, that cross, just like this couple, is an image of sacrifice that actually comes to a single point, which is commitment. This husband and wife, for 50 years of their married life, they were committed not only to one another, but to their children. To their children, that they will give them a bright future. It's a commitment. When Jesus was born and lived among us, He made a commitment with God our Father that He will redeem us by His suffering and death on the cross. He will redeem us. It's a commitment. My dear brothers and sisters, on the second Sunday of Lent, Christ would like to ask us, what is your cross? And how is that cross connected to your commitment? How is that cross connected to your commitment? In the first place, what are your commitments? Are you committed to anyone or to anybody? Or are we just committed to ourselves? I don't commit myself to anything else. I am just committed to make myself happy. Then why you marry? Why have children? Why be involved in a community if you don't want any commitment? My dear brothers and sisters, today we will witness the rite of calling for our candidates who will continue to journey for their conversion. And what is the conversion all about? It's also a commitment to be with God. To choose to be with God. It's a commitment. We can commit in other things. But as Christians, right from the beginning in the sacrament of baptism, we made a commitment to be with God. And living in this world is not so easy to maintain that commitment. There are so many temptations and challenges. And in this journey of your conversion, there are crosses to be against the common lifestyle of people, which may be too worldly and away from God. To go against the current is a cross. But if that cross is connected to our commitment to be with God, then it's not hard to carry. Just like what Jesus, the perspective of Jesus. It's not hard to carry our crosses, just like those couple who celebrated their 50th anniversary. It was not hard for them to carry their cross because they knew that their cross is connected to their commitment. I hope that as we come together today on the second Sunday of Lent, we may see that our crosses has value. Our crosses have meaning. Our crosses is so much connected to our commitment to be with God. May our experience of the celebration of the Eucharist today truly bring us closer to that commitment to be with God.